Yeah, I think you can keep Docs. Yeah, you could probably keep it. Keep on riding in the freeway. Oh, all right. Let me see what else you got. Kushal XBEV. Yo, this one is nice. Hot to trot. Keep all those, Kush. Yeah, I was looking at Zoom too. Maybe you got kind of like something along that end. Yeah, Uber is Randy. Yeah, I would keep all those. Guillermo, what up, baby? Hey, this apple's probably still doable. It seems to go red to green all the time. Good. You want to short some Tesla, huh? I think Tesla you probably leave alone too because it's stuck in range. Good morning, everybody. What's going on? Hold on here. Let me get my face creams on here. Whew. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. We are getting saucy here. Oh, moisturization party. Whew. Na, 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 na. Cool. All right, let's get to work. Everybody in? All right, all right. All right, let's do this, guys. First, let's take a look at the general indexes because we do have some interesting things that are happening here. So we got a little bit of a flat open. I don't think there's much to read on the open itself. We had a power candle day yesterday, right? So coming out of a flag, big power candle, that's to be expected, as you were coming out. So now we'll see if we kind of take out this yesterday's highs. But the overall structure of the market is really solid. Like if you look over here, we've broken out to all-time highs on the QQQs, and we've been marinating a little bit even over, right, this all-time highs as the 9 EMA catches up. That's really all you can ask for. If you're looking, if this was the chart of a stock, you'd be like, hot damn, that's pretty good, right? It's a cup and handle or whatever it might be. It's got a good look to it. You want to see those small bits of consolidation after a breakout and kind of digest that kind of original move, and we're starting to do that. So that's overall a net positive. You can see on the SPY too, we're starting to kind of digest this zone. I think overall that's a positive. Now, does it maybe need to come down and retest a little bit? It would be nice. Oftentimes you may even see a full retest of the breakout spot. Not always though, and so somewhere in this, you can go side, you can correct in two different ways. You can correct via time, or you can correct right via price. And so if you go correct via time, you're just going to go sideways. If you correct via price, right, you'll probably come down and retest. Either one of those will essentially work, and that'll work off the overbought condition, the general indexes to get these things going. Now, if you look at the IWM, very, very similar, right? We're just doing a little bit of a marination. We've got a much longer, obviously, base that we've got to clear out. This 210, 211 is going to be really important, and we've got room to get up there, so we'll see if we can kind of build through this. Now, once again, this may be one of those two where, maybe you got to crack it down a little bit, kind of get it back into the bone zone a little bit. But overall, the trend is starting to open up here. And as long as this stays open up like this, like that's a bullishness that we need, because you want to see the IWM really kind of lead in the way sometimes. It makes the market more fun. It makes the market a little bit more exciting. Like it's nice of recent, right? We haven't had to trade like Nvidia that often, because it's been kind of stuck in the range. And so it's been like a very clean couple months of trading because, we've been able to take our eyes off this damn thing and try to trade some other names. Let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, you had some news out too. Let me see what's up on this bad boy. Let's take a look. Right at resistance too. That's that's dirty. $2.5% guidance on CapEx. Speaking at the JPM conference. This actually, if it gets down low enough, it may actually get bought up. We'll keep an eye on this one. All right, let's take a look here. So the indexes all look good. We are just basically marinating a little bit. Let's take a look and see what kind of earnings and stuff we got going on. Hey, Dennis, how you doing, brother? I would keep Apple on the watch list. There's two different aspects of this. So, you can either hit it on a pullback, right, or a breakout. I try to actually, you can hit it on the 190, 175. Also, you got a lot of support at about 190 to 189.66-ish. You can kind of come in around that zone too. What we believe. All right, let's take a look at what kind of gappers we got, and then I got a nice hot little watch list for you guys. Dino, what are you watching today, baby? Yo, this GTP, I don't trade this kind of stuff, but yeah, you can probably have a day two. This is the market for this kind of stuff, right? So if you're going to dive into the dark arts, right, the real dark arts, then you've got to come in. You got to come in and trade some of this. You got to come in and trade some of this, but it is a dark art. So just kind of be mindful, when you're looking at this, like it's a dark art to play this, but you got to break out here. You can kind of see if it comes a retest. EBDL, this one you want to stay away from. So if you're looking at charts, right, and you're looking at these kind of small cap stocks, all this kind of junk, what you really need to see is a couple things. Right, so like see the tails on, see these solid candles and tails on this. So like basically this one gets pumped and then it gets dumped the next day, right? It gets pumped, it got dumped that day. Got pumped, dumped that day. See this one over here? It got pumped to 12. It actually rolled red that day. So you always want to look left when you're doing this. That's the key. You can trade anything, but you want to always look left, right? So this particular day, right, it got pumped, right, and then it got dumped by the end of the day, and then a couple days later, right? This particular day, pumped and dumped. So that's, that is the dark art of these things, right? So they always just look left a little bit. Some of them hold up, some of them don't. I will say this, that they are frankly, like in my younger days when I was more willing to wake up early, in the pre-market's like the best time to hit these things because you're not really getting like all the crazies in yet. Like you won't get as many wicks or shakeouts. So like you can come in and kind of take these kind of patterns and stuff and rip them. The issue is, there's no market orders, and pre-markets, you got to do limit, and I don't even think most brokers, you can't use stop losses in the pre-market. So there's a little bit of a trade-off here, but that's usually the time to come in and get this. Yo, Cheetah Mobile. That's a Chinese name, but no liquidity. Great pattern, though. LRMR, Chuck. Ooh. Yeah, something like this you could probably give a whirl to. I wouldn't consider this probably a small cap per se. You might be able to kind of come in on something like this. It used to be $140. LMFA, pump and dump. Connell, this is the coin ETF. This is the coin ETF. So coin itself, so going back to this, if you look at coin, it's got two different things going on it. So number one, you have this big base that it's kind of coming out of. They call this like a wedge pattern. I don't know. It's just a coil pattern, right? When you get a large range and you subsequently you're kind of grinding down, but you're getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. That is that's a full blown, right, kind of like reversal pattern setup, because it's like it's a grind down that tightens the range and then you come out of it. So yesterday you came out of it. Now the issue today is that you've gapped up right into the 50-day moving average. The ideal spot, if we had a week open, we could have red to green and sold into, right, the 200-day moving average. A lot easier of a play. Now, it doesn't mean you can't break over this bad boy, but you do got to be careful. Like, you got to be a little bit careful when you see this, because it's got to get over this 50-day moving average, and then you got a little bit of room up to maybe the top of the Bollinger Band today. Then, it'll probably open up after that. So this is a good look to it. And if coin is too expensive for you, then use this Connell, and it does tons of liquidity. It's got enough liquidity, right? But all of these kind of expensive names now, you have ETFs for them, right? So you don't have to trade NVIDIA. There's NVDL, right? That's the ETF for NVIDIA. It's a 1.5. You got old Connell here. For Amazon, you got AMZU. All right, so all of these bad boys, they have, they got a little bit. For Tesla, they have TSLT. This is a 2X one. And this one does 5-6 million shares in volume too. So you have these kind of ETFs that mimic, the underlying price, that are frankly, as long as they're liquid, they're probably going to be even easier to trade, because like when you're trading stocks like in the hundreds of dollars, usually they have spreads, and they just kind of elicit a little emotional response sometimes, as they're like just zipping around and they're so fucking expensive. To use those kind of ETFs, I think that might actually work for you a little bit better. Fuck, dude, I almost had this thing on this news was actually pretty good. This is day 3. I keep this Space Mobile on a longer term list, probably on the first pullback, but that's because this thing it's on a today would be day 4 of a move, so probably no go today. But it's a hottie with a body. I keep that on a longer term list, just not for today. Yang, the China Bear ETF. This thing is oversold, so the Chinas are due for a pullback, but at some point when it gets into this zone, it's probably gonna, reverse back. Bum, 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 bum. Guys, I'm just going through these news plays real quick, and then we'll kind of dig back through the regular watch list. So let's take a look here real quick. So we've got an interesting little setup here that we're going to have to kind of monitor, which is right. So if you look here, right, Bitcoin's got this big range. So I think the all-time high is like right, let's call that 73 and some change, 74. So you're kind of pushing into it. Now, yesterday was a pretty kind of big candle, so it may need an inside candle to just catch up. But like overall, that's like a pretty powerful look, because you have this big trend, and now you're going sideways for a period of time. I mean, you can't really beat that, You can't really beat that. And then if you look here, old Ethereum is even looking probably a little bit more spicy. This has a similar pattern to coin. So you got this wedge pattern that's just been coiling up like a mother. Dude, that's very powerful too, by the way. I had so many alerts go off on this. I was at the gym when this thing started to bust loose. There's no fucking signal in there. I was scrambling back to my car to get to my laptop. I fucking missed it. So you got this thing breaking out over here. So, the all-time high on this is 410. Now, this one will be a little bit more tricky because you're kind of just testing into this again, where like Bitcoin has a little bit more congestion going in. But like both of these charts, like you need to probably keep up somewhere. Keep them up somewhere, because like when you're watching these, what I do is I keep a 15-minute chart up. I'll keep a 15-minute chart up. And that way, like if you're trading, say coin, if you're trading coin or Mara or something, you've got to kind of time not just the intraday patterns on those two, but you got to kind of watch them on a smaller term basis. Like, like usually, like if you get like a big $3,000 candle down on Bitcoin, Mara could have like a picture perfect pattern and it just dumps off too. Same thing with CLSK. So you do got to kind of like, they're a little bit harder to trade sometimes because you got to kind of dodge a couple more landmines than you would if you were just trading, Uber or something. So just something to kind of keep in mind. Keep a little 15-minute chart up. You'll be able to kind of watch the action a little bit better. These are all Bitcoin stocks. So look at this old Lowe's here. Lowe's fiscal first quarter results. Top Street's estimate despite DIY spending decline. I wish that was more handy. Really, it's a nice skill to have, right? Just strap on a pair of Wranglers and get your tool belt going. That's hot. Whew. I'm gonna have to learn some of this stuff. Old Lowe's here. Man, those Wranglers back in the day, that's a pair of jeans. People still wear jeans? They should. Get one of those 6-shooters, strap it in your pair of Wranglers, got yourself a tool belt. Dude, you're going places. This has got a spot here. This is going to actually have pretty good range. It doesn't look like much, but it's probably going to have 20, 30 point range today. I'd actually add this for now. Let's add it. We got coin. Remember, 50-day moving average. Add that. Caesars, this stock sucks to trade. Hey, Macy's has got its earnings out. Macy's fiscal adjusted earnings, revenues, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of a little bit of a makeshift setup right there. So you do got kind of two levels that are coalescing around here. It may get some action just because retail stocks have been a lot hotter this year than they have been in the past. So if you can kind of come out of this 20 spot, I'd wait for an ORB, of course, or at least a pull. See if it kind of comes in there. I'd set some alerts here. I wouldn't touch it unless it started to come out of there. But if it starts to push through, and it could happen very fast, like sometimes they just happen in a quick candle, then I would come in and start looking at this bad boy. But I wouldn't just look at it, unless it wants to do that. So need an ORB or quick pullback buy, and then, you want to double check and make sure that it's at least over 20. Does that make sense? Good. All right, let's check on the downside what we got here. TNT. Hey, so this CTNT, if I can recall correctly, I was just reading up on this. The people that dogged on MNDR, Minder, I think it's the same people that are doing this one. So the people that goosed up the Minder and then dropped it, I think it's the same people that are doing CTNT. When I say doing, it's like, right, the market is full of some hucksters that, right, use these stocks as essentially like personal piggy banks. So like you can see they pumped this thing up 50 million shares in volume, got this thing all goosed up in the post market yesterday. And I think at one point it was at 40. Let's see here. Okay. At one time it got to 45. I was watching this thing and it was like, whoop, 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 whoop. And then they've dumped this bad boy back in a very sexy manner. So yeah, don't be surprised to see this bad boy up back into the 2s or whatever. Obviously you can't short it down here, but if you see like a decent squeeze on this, and you get this thing back into some ranges, don't be afraid to come in hot on something like this. Boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, that's chung. This VFS was hot yesterday. I know Zaman had it on the blog on a couple days ago. I think he even goofed it up. That's like, when you trade these cheaper stocks, these are the ones that you kind of want to gravitate towards because they're going to have the liquidity, but they move pretty linear. You can get a lot of size in them, like something like this. If you wanted to trade 10,000, 20,000 shares, like it's going to move pretty kind of linear as you're getting through this. So they end up being a little bit safer to trade. Damn, this thing is getting diced, huh? VinFast faces charges in California Superior Court for not paying rent. Yeah. Oh, man. That's amazing. Dude, it's an $11 billion damn company. I fucking don't want to pay their rent. Good for them. I wouldn't be paying rent either. Fuck it. This I'm getting sued for $300,000 in rent. Probably not a big deal, but you can see here too. They got launches pro deadly crash involving VF electric and resulting death to 4 people. Crash into oak tree, caught fire. Dude, who's running around driving a Vietnamese electric car like these days? Good Lord. Yeah, I think this one, it may actually get bought up. I'd probably keep this on the watch list. If small caps stay hot today, you've got a whole load of support over here, and the SSR will trigger on it, so you can start to, if you start to see this kind of zone hold, with the SSR triggering on it, like you actually, you may have a chance to get in. At worst, it might do an inside day, and then, maybe you take out this range over here. If the market stays hot, as the market stays up here at these elevated levels, these kind of names are going to keep getting picked up because even though it seems like it's up a lot, the shit was $100 just a little bit ago, right? Last summer. Hey, sugar.
Hi.
What you getting into over there?
Nothing yet.
You want a little love? Give me my love. Give me my shit. Hey, Charlie. Did you sleep?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What brings you up so early? Hey, is today the day? All right. Go to swing. Ooh, this is the earnings play. But see how it's like gapping down into support? Probably that's not going to work for us. SPT, Sprout Social. Dude, screw these guys. I used to use this. Says no process in place. Take private, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yo. If this actually has some liquidity in it, if it keeps it in, I'd watch and see how this thing reacts around. We've got the old low here is at like 27. So it needs to do a little work before it gets there. But you had this big gap down over here. May. Hold on here. May 3rd. Yes, that must have been earnings. So you've been just kind of hanging out here for a little bit. It's made it doesn't have any liquidity yet, but we could get there. Let's keep that on watch. Hey, Zim, this thing was priced for perfection. It's $10. It's doubled up. And they've dogged on their earnings. Swings to Q1, revenues rise. So they actually made money. Their revenues rose, but that's kind of priced in here. This should have the liquidity. You're at about 1 million shares in volume. You got a big level right here that if you can stay under, we tried shorting this a couple times. Let's keep this bad boy on watch. I like the location. We're going to narrow down this list in a little bit, guys. Right now it's a little bit aggressive. PNW, every time this stock's had earnings out a few times and it gets bought up. You see this one. Well, this one, I think this is the Pelosi move, right? Now, it's in a little bit no man's land. I'd leave that alone. Yo, all these Chinese stocks are getting smoked out. Ew, 1.5 companies senior notes offering. Dude, these companies always do this shit because they know the Americans buy these stupid notes. Bastards. Let's see here. Bob, I think this needs a few days of pullback too. Yeah, a couple days of pullback. They're all kind of opening week, but they need a little bit of juice to pull back. They're up a long way of recent. Let's let these things just marinate for a few days. I'm thinking the overall market on China is still looking pretty good. But hey, Tom, I have three 43-inch Dell monitors, vertical. So they're 43s. They're pretty big. I mean, I'm pretty tall. They're way over my head. They're way over my head. Yeah, and I don't know if you necessarily need like ones this big. I mean, they're very heavy. You have to get a desk that can fucking hold the stands for these. But they're kind of fun. Besides, like cranking your neck up. You know what? And if you go on like Black Friday and stuff, you always find deals on all this stuff. All right, let's get back into this. There's a couple little doohickeys I want to go over here. So check this out. This NVAX. You got a level here right at 15. So this thing, it opened up weak yesterday. It had a pretty nice trender. I probably wouldn't touch this thing unless it got over this 15 spot, or if it just marinated so hard that it was about to. But you've got a decent location on that. So let's put that on the watch list. Guys, this HIMS, right? This is the website that does the Rogaine, and then they also do the boner pills. Armando subscribes to it. He says he loves it. Like, it's just, firsthand anecdotal notice is the best for this kind of stuff. So they also announced that they're going to be doing the Ozempics. Nice, right? So this is, the one-stop shop. This is the one-stop shop of everything. You're getting boner pills and Ozempic. Babe, as a medical professional, what do you think about that? Right? Isn't that a nice thing?
What the people want.
You get your hair, your boners, and you're getting skinny. I mean, theoretically, if you got skinny, your boners would probably get better anyways. So this is, you got a lot of nice stuff going at HIMS. Now, the float on this is pretty low, 184. This news, it doesn't seem like much. But remember, a lot of companies, the whole move in Eli Lilly, a majority of this moves has been on the old Ozempics, right? The Ozempics and the Weewovies or whatever they call them. This HIMS may get the market cap is really low on it, about $3 billion. It's probably gonna be going. I mean, guys, GTP is gonna be a turd no matter what. Of course they're gonna do an offering. It's a pump and a fucking dump. It's a pump and a dump. This is why you don't trade small caps. This is why you don't want to do these things. And especially if you do them, make sure you live in a cold weather place. I think that's important. Because if you're trading small caps and you live in a warm weather place, all right, you're at the office, you're trading these small caps, you got 5,000 shares of this thing, and then it dumps off. And you can't get out because you can't market order anything. So now you've lost $25,000, $30,000. So you're at work making $1,000 a week, but you lost $25,000 trading. So now your wife is at home unsuspecting, doesn't really understand what's going on, and little Johnny needs braces. You're right, he's a good little kid, but he's a bastard. He's got nasty teeth. and a mean disposition. And you're sitting there wondering, like, as an absentee father who day trades small caps all day, how did my son become such a jerk, right? Like, why is he so chubby? And why does he have such bad teeth? And you're not even thinking that it might have to do with your day trading addiction and losing all his money on these small cap stocks. So now your wife is like, all right, because she's helicopter mom, right? She's wearing those nasty little Lulu pants that probably give you cancer. And she's running around. She's going to the dentist, trying to act like hot shit. She tries to get little Johnny some braces. All of a sudden, the credit card gets declined. And she's sitting there like, oh, that's weird. We just had this money in the account. Why did the credit cards get declined? You don't want to say anything. She doesn't know what's going on. Next thing you know, something starts to fester, right? Something starts to fester. She suspects because you come home, you get raging drunk because you're trying to hide the fact you lost all this money for little Johnny's braces on GTLB trading in the pre-market. So now you're sitting there like, man, I gotta get the smoke off my back. So you create like a little fake fight, right? You're sitting there and you guys are gonna be watching like maybe The Bachelorette, and you're like, I don't like The Bachelor. And she's like, you love The Bachelor. You're like, no, this is demeaning to us men. You know, I'm a good God-fearing Christian man, and I don't like to see these people living in sin fornicating with each other. And so now you create this fake fight to hide the fact that you lost this money trading. So then over the months, your wife is kind of suspecting something. But remember, it's a warm weather place. When you have warm weather place, you have access to other men. Because you know what? While you're at work, the pool guy comes in. Old Pedro comes in. He's got a nice body, right? He's got good hair. And he's sitting there. He's got the salsa moves. And so now you're sitting there, right? And your wife's sitting there like, damn, that old guy. That old guy. He's looking pretty zesty. My husband's a big piece of shit. So next thing you know, right? You come home. All of a sudden, your wife becomes a lot better dancer. She's dancing all the time. She's in the kitchen doing dancing. She's salsaing. She's doing the bachata, right? That's when you know. When they do the bachata, like everybody can do a little salsa. But when they do the bachata, that's when something's up, right? And so now your whole life is ruined. Your family's gone. Your kid still doesn't have braces. And because you chose to live in a warm weather place, you know, now things have happened. Moral of the story, stay away from the GTAB. Stay away from these things, guys. There's better things out there. Like, you focus on hymns, right? Focus on these things right here. So this, going back to this, it's a flat open. Let's see how it reacts around the 20 spot. I think that's going to be a good spot, right? We want to kind of make sure that, we got a real easy, happy-go-lucky spot right there. Now, next one, I'm really digging this one. This app, they did a dilution, a small one, a couple million shares, I believe, to raise some capital. Now, this earnings has pulled back right into 9 EMA. You've got a little bit of a flag pattern that it's starting to come out of. Had a decent range yesterday, pretty good trender, nothing crazy sexy, but an orderly kind of move. And you've got some nice sweet spots on this bad boy. You know, you can see here, if you start to come out of this range, you're going to be able to, probably get this thing up to 88, 80, 90 really, really quick. So keep this on the watch list. I'm liking this overall thing. Now, look, there was some news out just now on NVIDIA that the Amazon halts orders of NVIDIA super chip to await updated models. It's not like NVIDIA's like losing Amazon, but they probably lost a couple orders. This may not be that much, but with MU also going, I think, this will probably be a little bit of a risk-off day on some of these. So let's be a little bit mindful. I wouldn't go with earnings tomorrow. This thing is going to move really all over the place, right? So just kind of keep that in the back of your head. Like, you don't want to be knee deep on this thing. Hold on here. Man. Yeah, it may get bought up a little bit, but you're gonna have to definitely be careful here. Damn. Let's see where the support on this bad boy is. Hold on here. Let me just get a little something going. Hold on. Let's see where the support on this bad boy is. Man, you're kind of already there. So this is the hourly chart. You're right at the 50-day moving average. That's where you want to see. If you're going to try to long this thing for a day trade today, that's where you want to see this bad boy hold. On the hourly charts, guys, usually you'll find the best supports. Like if you're ever trying to do bounce spots or something like that, like bigger ones, always check the hourly. You'll get the best spots on them. Now, I think this is probably just a leave alone unless you're just really, really nimble. Let's get back into this. I like this SG. Similar setup to app. You have the earnings, and then now you've kind of consolidated this right into this nice happy-go-lucky pattern. This has got a weak open on this too, about 1%. I think this is a primetime candidate. This is a primetime candidate for the red to green. Now, beyond this, right? So you got app SG. We got some earnings plays. I want you to add in this XPEV today, right? I want you to add in this XPEV. This probably got a little bit of flavor on it too, right? These Chinese stocks have been hot. It's fading off a little bit, but we'll see if it gets picked up. This one's going to do a lot of liquidity too. So I'd keep this one on watch list. Yeah, you could. I think you probably leave that one alone. And then let's see. Any dip, Bitcoin's at 70,800. If it dips down to 70,000 today, right, at some point, and it starts to hold there, then we want to go in and red to green these Maras and these CLSKs. Probably Mara's got a lot more liquidity. Yeah, let's take a look at these. I think Mara's probably the better play. Let this bad boy pull back, though. It tends to do some weird shit all the time. I have a love-hate relationship with this stock. I think like a nice snap to like 21 would, set us up. I don't think you get all the way 21 the breakout spot, but even closer to it, that's going to be your spot. So add all of these. There's a whole host of these things too that I think are going to be possible. This can looks okay. Iron needs one rest day, and this hut, right, might need one rest day too, but you got levels on these also. In the meantime, Mara is not necessarily extended. It just had the one big day. So let's see. Give me 21. I want to spike down in Bitcoin and a pull to 21. If this red to greens, we can try it. But Mara is always finicky on the red to greens, if you've noticed. Like it tends to be a little bit weird. Now, one last one that we want to add, because this has been our big money maker the last few days. Any pop on this FFIE, we're taking it down. They'll probably be on sub 50 cents in the next couple of weeks. Any pop on this one, we're taking it down. So let's go back through this. We have NVAX. We have SG. We have HIMS. All right. We have the Bitcoin stocks. And then we've got a couple of these, right? Earnings plays. Like this one's already reversing. We might even go red. XPEV. I wouldn't consider any of these like hot. But we've got a couple of these. Like, see this Zim? I think the old Zim is going to be something juicy too. And Tesla is already pushing. It tends to do the opposite of whatever you think. It is still stuck in range. Like a lot of people think this is a bearish setup, but it's really more of just a range setup. Sometimes it's going to be, some days it's going to be zesty. Some days it'll be non-zesty. Dude, give me a pop on this FFIE. This has been our moneymaker of recent. Let's go get this, guys. You know what we got to do? Which is the do-do. Yeah, Jay, I saw that. Jay, Mr. Rice, how you been, by the way? Cool. Let's go do it, folks. Let's go do it.